Google Forms are an excellent way to assess student understanding because you can receive immediate feedback. One of the downfalls, though, is what do you do if students are not able to finish their Google form in the time allotted? Today's tutorial is going to take a look at some troubleshooting that you can do to allow students to go back to their Google form after they've submitted it to make changes or to finish it if they need. Let's take a look at how to do this. So you'll see here on my screen that I have a practice test Google form. I have the title up here with a few practice questions. But what we want to take a look at is how can I, as the teacher, take this form and make it so that students can return to it at a later time if they need. To do that, you're going to go up here to the settings option. Once you click on settings, you're going to go down here to where respondents can, and you're going to select edit after submit. This is going to provide students the opportunity to be able to return to the form after they have submitted it. This would be a great option to select if you would like to allow students extra time on their form, or if you would like to allow them the ability to be able to go back to the form after they've initially submitted it. Once you've selected Edit After Submit, select Save, and your form is good to go. Now, what does this form look like on the student side of things? Let's take a look at that. I'm going to go over here to my practice Google Classroom, and you'll see here on the stream that I have an assignment for my students, which is the practice test Google form. So as a student then, I would go ahead and click on this assignment, and you'll see within the instructions what the students would need to do. So I have my instructions that state, please use the link below to complete the practice test. If you do not finish in the allotted time, you may return to the form. To return to the form later, please complete the following. So this is what students would need to do on their end in order to be able to return. So they would submit the form, highlight and edit response, right click and select copy link address, and then paste your link in the private comment section of this assignment. So those are the steps that students would need to complete. Now, what does this actually look like? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So now I'm acting as the student, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the test link. I'm taken to the test, and I'll go ahead and I will answer my questions. I will select submit, and now I'm on my final page, which tells me I have options to edit my response or submit another response. So following the directions that are posted on Google Classroom, I will highlight edit your response. I'm going to right click and copy link address. And then what I'm going to do is go back to Google Classroom, and in my student area, I am going to add my private comment with my Google Form link, and I am going to send it. So now not only can the student go back to this Google form, but the teacher can see that as well. Let's take a look at what the Google form looks like once a student tries to go back to it. So if I were the student, I would go ahead and select this link. And as you can see, I'm taken right back to the test form, and I can see my previous answers. So the nice thing is that when students would return to this, their answers would be saved. They would not have to go back and redo anything from the past. Now, one other option rather than having students post the link to Google Classroom would be to simply instruct students to just keep this tab opened once they have submitted the initial form, so that when they come back into the classroom or come back to their computer, they could just select edit your response and go immediately back to the form. This is a good option, but it might cause some issues if students were to accidentally exit out of this, because once the students exit out of the tab, they'll lose that link and they won't be able to return to it. So just keep that in mind as the teacher. You may want to possibly provide both options to students. It's really just going to depend on the kids that you have in your room, and also depending on the situation within your classroom as well. Today with this tutorial, we took a look at how to allow students to edit their Google Forms after they've initially submitted. This is a great option to use if you would like your students to be able to return to a test if they were not able to finish in the allotted time. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you, and if you have any questions, just let me know.